Welcome to part 17 of the 2023 NFL Draft in Review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles draft class. And for the most part, it looks to me like the Eagles are just solidifying in certain places and getting depth in others, which is pretty much exactly what they need to do at this point. They're very close to winning a Super Bowl, but they just weren't quite able to overpower the Chiefs. And I think that is going to continue because they are relying on some rookie production to step up and replace a couple of guys that really led to that impressive 70-plus sack defense. So the first is defensive tackle Jalen Carter. And this continues kind of the trend the Eagles have had of just seemingly trying to put the Georgia defense that won those championships together. And, well, the results have been a little mixed from what I've seen, but it's not a horrible idea, and Carter does seem to be a pretty good player, though the stat line I don't think would really say that this guy should be a top 10 selection. For an interior defensive lineman, I'd like to see the tackles for loss a little higher. The sacks are about what I'd expect, that 3 to 5 radius per year. That's perfectly fine. They're in the interior. The quarterback is more likely to see them come in and get rid of the ball. It's hard to be an effective pass rusher on the interior of a D-line. So we'll come over here now and take a look at Jalen Carter.
Carter has that ability to win one-on-one battles and make those kind of plays.
Number 2 on Mel Kiper's big board, only Will Anderson ahead of him.
Got no choice.
Jalen Daniels would like to, but Jalen Carter's got him again.
And I wonder if Kirby Smart will dare take a timeout here.
Did you see that at the end of the play?
Yes,
He lifted him up with one hand.
One hand.
Watch this.
Lift him up.
With one hand.
Oh, my goodness.
Down at the goal line. From his own end zone. He waited too long, and down he goes. And it's going to be a safety.
Did the ball get out, though? I think it might have been recovered by Tennessee.
Jalen Carter punched it out of there.
5 in the first round. They're just about exactly the same statistically as they were a year ago. And there's Jalen Carter to stop that play for no gain. It was Marks again.
3 receivers to the right now. One coming back in motion. Josh Williams did not get it.
Man, that's hard to believe. Shotgun, give time for that defensive line to penetrate. I'm under center, sneaking it at a hole right over here. Means the edge rushers have a tough time getting there.
Try a draw play, and the ball is out. Georgia's got it. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins.
Okay, so I see a good bit of power and speed here. That is something that should fit real good with the Eagles, because as much as I don't like this team, I can admit when a team is good. Their pass rush is phenomenal. You don't just get 70 sacks. That's not an every year thing. Hell, I think the last time that happened was something like in the 90s or something. I don't know for sure, but that's how rare it is. So the Eagles obviously have so many guys they can bring on a pass rush, and that's going to really just force teams to try and block Carter one-on-one. And if you don't have a guy that can do that, he's going to be a nightmare. And there's going to obviously be a lot of teams that can't do that. So I'd expect that his stat line probably improves. The tackles for loss should go up. The sacks should go up. But I would temper your expectations a little bit if you're an Eagles fan. Like I said, 70 sacks in one season, that does not happen twice in a row. It'd be really impressive if it did, but until proven otherwise, it's not something that happens twice in a row. So just pump the brakes a little bit there. So their second first-round pick, which was the one they didn't get from another team, They took Carter's teammate from Georgia, outside linebacker Nolan Smith, and Smith looks like he's pretty much going to slot in as an immediate starter. It doesn't really look to me like they have another outside linebacker to go with Hassan Reddick, so I'd expect that Smith's an immediate starter, same as Carter is. So let's go over here and see how Smith did statistically. That is not what I want to see in terms of sacks from this position. Outside linebacker, I would like to see anywhere between 8 and 15, depending how good they are, and this guy never even hit 5 in a season. So, again, this is a problem that will be mitigated some by the ability of the Eagles to rush the quarterback. So, there will be a lot of times where he's going to probably get chances to do a lot better than he ever did in college. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. These 2 years, 20 and 22, also kind of implied this guy's got a bit of a thing with missing a few games due to injuries. And that could prove a bit of a weak link for the Eagles, because they aren't really set at backup here. If someone goes down, then you're pushing out a guy who's probably not got that much experience. So, we'll see.
Dogs rush 3, drop 8, and they still get pressure and sack him at the 3-yard line. Nolan Smith knocking the big quarterback down.
Quarterback held that too long.
Todd Monken said, no mercy. New guy in, we're going after him.
And Marshawn Lloyd blasted by Nolan Smith.
3rd down and 8. Cook brought down by Nolan Smith.
Yes. Just a great play. Do you think they knew this was coming? Well, watch this right here on the end of the line. He's just going to collapse.
We saw a Georgia defense getting tired.
Robinson again hit low and knocked down by Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith doing a really good job off the edge.
3rd down and 8, pistol formation. And they'll just hand it off. And Bigsby's nothing there. Nolan Smith, the senior, was in the backfield before the ball was even handed off.
Georgia has 3 timeouts remaining. Delayed blitz by Nakobe Dean. And another interception. This one's Nolan Smith. Back-to-back huge plays for number 4.
And I think Walker, number 44, got a tip on the play. Back-to-back big plays by Walker.
He's a freshman. Stays in the block, and it doesn't help. Doty got knocked free from the football. Nolan Smith hit him, and it got picked up by...
I would say that this one's more of a consistent contributing sort of player, that he's going to do what he does. You shouldn't really expect too much more than that, but he could still make some plays for this defense. But as far as rushing the quarterback, do all the things that you'd expect a linebacker to do, I think the Eagles just have better options in obviously the guy on the opposite end of the field from him, Hassan Reddick, in the defensive ends. You've just got guys that are better suited to rush the quarterback, so you'll definitely hear Smith's name a few times throughout the season, and probably for a good number of years to come, but I don't really think I see quite elite level production from this player, so starter, but a guy that if he gets hurt, you can maybe plug somebody in and get adequate replacement. So for the next one is offensive tackle Tyler Steen. I do not have a video up for him, but I do believe that the Eagles have moved him over to offensive guard. It looks like he's a favorite to start at that position, so we'll probably see him pretty early on, and as long as he can keep the running lanes open, that's really his only job, so yeah. So, next up we have safety Sidney Brown from Illinois. Ooh. Okay, so for safety, the tackle numbers are really not what I want to see, but this is kind of where the Eagles started into some backup selection, so I don't expect this guy to be on the field very much. This seems to be potentially more of maybe a Hail Mary sort of guy that you plug in for when you need a guy who can go up and catch the ball. So it'd be interesting to see how these interceptions shake out.
Newton in his face. Lob pass, Hall. Tipped and intercepted by Sidney Brown.
He sees a linebacker.
That's a nice
on the hole,
interception.
so he tries to get there, but if that ball gets tipped up, you better believe in Illinois.
And going nowhere, that's going to be a loss.
Tough year this year thus far, but today he's played lights out. See how Nate Hobbs attacks the football. That makes the receiver then go left.
Stanley off play action over the middle, and it's intercepted by Sidney Brown. Brown with his third pick of the year, and he's out
on top. He's reading both sides. The ball just goes way over at Whiting's head, and there's a pick.
Ground game for Wisconsin. So now they'll go to the air. And a nice little move, stretching. Now that the football is lost by Jake Ferguson. Well, let's see. Hit it. On first down, low working. Deflected, and it's intercepted by Sidney Brown.
Right there. There you go. And you're right, it was Tolson. There's the second one that kept it alive.
Double boink.
The pick.
The tip drill, Tolt, and the interception.
In terms of total rush yards. Back he goes, and down he goes.
Rusher coming from any angle. In this case, it's Sidney Brown. Right
down by 9. Goodson upended by Sidney Brown at the.
Now it's Aaron Young in the backfield. Given to Cruikshank.
Obviously in the hands of Illinois.
Yeah, like I said, I stand by what I said here, that this is just a pretty simple backup selection. Obviously, they got Terrell Edmonds playing the same spot, so yeah, it's your typical backup. You'll see him a bit, but not too much. Could make some plays, though, when he's on the field. I definitely think that if the Eagles get into a situation where they need to protect the Hail Mary, that we'll probably see Brown on the field. And I'm inclined to say maybe throw him out there for special teams too, just to get the ball in his hands and see if he can do something with it. So, the next pick is another player from Georgia, cornerback Kelee Ringo. This is another basic backup selection. The Eagles have one of the more, maybe not stacked defenses, because offenses can still attack this team pretty effectively, but you've got your starters in place, basically. So, right off the bat, the pass deflections versus interceptions are pretty high. He does seem to do a good job returning the ball when he gets it in his hands. Tackle-wise, all right. So, just move along quickly to the video and see if they... Well, I'm only really seeing if they got a solid backup here, because that's what the intended purpose of this pick pretty much is.
Mop-up time against South Carolina last week. Seals tries to thread it in there.
So another long yardage. Fires and
nice.
Intercepted by Kelee Ringo. And Ringo bringing it back the other way and still going. Kelee Ringo, who won the national championship game. Incomplete. On the go route down the side ball.
That started to show up on tape.
Legs back. And once again, finds Harrison. And Marvin Harrison Jr. tracked down from behind. They knocked the ball loose.
And give Starks a lot of credit with his effort. Also from behind, Ringo knocks it loose there. Ball's in play. Georgia has a chance. But
Levis, look out behind you.
He had a guy on him. Riggs was on him, but he ran right through it. But it really didn't matter. It was going to get him if Kelee didn't.
The loss of
the head coach's role.
Gibson, play action again, back shoulder to the sideline. Carter, did he get a foot to this team? There's no doubt.
They play hard for him. This is Carter on the go. There's nowhere for him to throw that ball, Gibson.
Hicks. Loss. Incomplete.
Stepping up right now on the outside. This was an area of concern. They've done a lot of too high safeties to start the season. Really protect.
Guys, he hasn't received any extra attention.
He's airing one out long, incomplete.
From the pocket, launching downfield, underthrown and intercepted. Kelee Ringo has an escort down the sidelines. All the way to the end zone, and Georgia.
Hooker gonna go long to the near corner to Tillman, and it's intercepted by Kelee on the field.
Okay, so basically the same thing as Sidney Brown here. This is a quality backup selection. Potential future starter, I would say, because obviously you're not going to be able to keep a defense this loaded up with talent on hand forever. It's just not going to happen in the NFL unless you can convince basically everybody to take significantly less than what they're worth. So I'd say that Ringo is now a quality backup / future starter. Seems pretty good at making wide receivers work for it. He can pick off some pretty closely contested balls. He can run with it when it gets it in his hands. So I like this. This is a good selection, I think, for the Eagles long term. Next we have the one that kind of makes me head scratch a little bit because they select a quarterback in the 6th round, Tanner McKee. And obviously this guy is a backup, but you kind of then go over here and look at the Eagles roster, and they've got Marcus Mariota and Ian Book. This guy's not even a backup. He's 3rd string at best. Practice squad if you can't beat Book. And if you can't beat Book, there's a chance he doesn't even make the team. So I just kind of question what's the logic here. And going over to the stat line, okay, let's see, rushing yards. Yeah, this guy does not really look like he's that much of a runner. You know, he did score 6 rushing touchdowns, so it doesn't look like he's incapable of running, but it's either that or he gets sacked a lot, so so I can't really see this as a guy to imitate another mobile quarterback, because there are some teams that have invested in that. They will bring a guy in to sort of help the defense prep for a considerably better quarterback in terms of running the ball, but it doesn't really look like McKee is that guy, so I just kind of question what's the logic here. You don't need a new quarterback. That's just the one thing you absolutely don't need if you're the Eagles. That's another quarterback, so we'll take a look, but I don't really
half roll on 2nd down. McKee being chased back to the end zone. Did he get the feet down?
McKee just 1 for his last 4. 2nd down, he'll throw, and he has a wide open target, and Michael will. It's 10 o'clock at night, I don't know. McKee throws. What a grab by Wilson. Ertz. McKee, play fake, end zone, got his man. Humphreys, you asked for him. And in this state. 3rd down and 10, McKee caught. It's Higgins.
McKee doesn't step up, just turns and fires.
Should have took him there too. Down the sideline, contact, catch, touchdown, Cardinal. Bryce.
He said, yeah, I missed the last one, but I got the keys right here, and what a catch by Bryce. Coming to Stanford if they get the opportunity to.
He's missed on his last 5 passes. Finds his target in 1st down.
Read the defense and be a step ahead.
1st and 10. McKee on the post. Touchdown, Cardinal.
attached left, out of the eye. Hard play action from McKee. Hit as he throws. No problem to Yurosek. We'll keep our eye on Casey Filkins on the Stanford sideline. McKee on the move. And on the money.
Nah, like I said, this, not even the backup, might not be the third string. He doesn't look terrible, but he just looks kinda average, and I would say the quarterback position in the NFL has evolved to the point where if you're just the average guy, you're going to be kind of lucky to just be on a team higher than third string. You know, obviously there are quite a few teams in the NFL that do not have a quality backup, but the Eagles, I don't think, are one of those teams right now, because obviously they got Mariota. I don't know how much they're going to be able to keep him, because I don't really know if Mariota has accepted that he's not going to be a starter anymore. It's just one of those oddball picks. So that'll bring it to the final selection, defensive end Moro Ojomo, who it says here they have moved over to defensive tackle, so that means that this is another backup depth piece type of pick. So let's come over here, take a look at the stats. Yeah, that's about what I expect from a 7th round defensive lineman. Not much value in tackles for loss or sacks. But we'll still come over here to just give him the fair shake and then move along to the grading.
Showing pressure. Nope, dropping into the zone. A lot of pressure coming. Coburn is there. And for the second time, could be the next great one.
And that's a beautiful rush. That's a stab to a chop. That stab, slow down the offensive lineman. Offensive lineman hand goes low. He chops it down.
Side this year. 2nd and 8 at the 47. And it's Gibbs. He slips. And here's a handoff to Gibbs. He sticks a foot in the ground, tries to turn it up. No way.
For UTSA, Brady showing patience. Stood up.
No pressure.
Yeah, big time. He's in trouble, and down he goes.
Man, the pressure's coming from depth, the inside game, and I love the fact that you're bringing Jalen for the void that you leave because of the extra body. Let me tell you, this thing is buttoned down tight. Love the job backfield. Third.
Yeah, this is about what I expected to see. This is just your average backup selection. Let's see how many defensive tackles they've got on roster here. So I'd say that it's this lump that's like your starting 3. Then you've got the backups. So this guy could probably be like a 3rd string defensive tackle, which I would say is probably going to put some pressure on him to make the roster at all. So, like I said, the Eagles just kind of checked out in the last 2 rounds, but considering their first 4 rounds, what they got there is very, very good looking. So I'd say this is a very successful draft. I'd grade this around the A- type of area, because you've gotten 3 starters here with a potential 4th one and a quality backup in Sidney Brown. So, that's 5 pretty good selections, so I can kind of ignore the 2 kind of head scratchers. So yeah, I'd say that's about an A+ class. So that is going to do it for today. Like the video, leave a comment if you have something to say, and at least try keeping nice. I'm doing my best here. Hit the notification bell, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, all the good stuff, and I will be seeing you tomorrow for the Dallas Cowboys draft, which, knowing the Cowboys, there's going to be some stuff that makes me just kind of stare at the screen in just complete dumbfounded silence.